You ever heard of a fairy tale love story? Well, it ain't no fairy tale, but let me tell you about it. Whoa, now what's happening with it? How you? How your mom and them? Well, let's get into it. I've been telling y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all the story of how I met my wife. Let's start at the beginning. So when I was about 14 or 15, I met this girl through this other girl that used to go to my church. Y'all know I've been telling y'all since day one, I've been a church boy my whole life. My whole life. Anyway, she lived around the corner from the church, and the other girl who I knew, which was actually my brother's girlfriend, she was friends with her. But the other girl, my brother's girlfriend, went to church with us, and she didn't. Every now and then she would come and visit. But anyway, so I met her through the other girl at the church. Long story short, she was having a birthday party come up, and they invited me to the party. So I went to the house, I went to her house for the party and all of that kind of stuff. And after that, we was boyfriend, girlfriend. Anyway, so years go by, and we on and off most of the time, but it was puppy love. I used to say it was puppy love all the time. But my wife, she says it's always been love, and I always used to tell her that was just puppy love. But anyway, so we grow up, and we're in high school now. So I go to her, I think it was her junior year. I think it was her junior year prom or something like that. Her prom for junior year. I went to prom with her for junior year. We had fun, everything. It was cool. But let me go back. Before that, I think I went to like one of the dances at her school or something. But we used to do stuff like that, you know. Most of the time back in the day, you know, you couldn't be going to movies and hanging out at the mall and all of that. Every time I had to visit her at her house. And y'all know we had to sit in the front room. We had to sit in the front room in court and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, let me keep moving. So, so fast forward, let me not skip that part. So we were at one of their dances, one of their school dances, and let me just say this as a side note, and if you know, you know. She went to St. Mary's Academy, and everybody wanted a girlfriend from St. Mary's Academy, or everybody wanted a girl from St. Mary's Academy. But anyway, but I'm serious, but that's how it was. That didn't matter to me because I didn't know better or whatever. But anyway, so I go to the school dance with her, and this was when we done grew up a little bit, but it was still before. It was in high school. It was still in high school, but I think it was early on in high school. So I go to the school dance, and you know, back in them days, we used to like kind of talk to each other through songs and stuff like that. Anyway, so she sent me this song, and like I say, it was getting a little past puppy love then because we was starting to grow up, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so she sent me this song, and the song was, or she gave me the song, or she wrote a note to me with the song or whatever. But the song was Bill Withers, Just the Two of Us. And even though we was acting like boyfriend and girlfriend, I don't know how you act like boyfriend and girlfriend, but she was saying I was her boyfriend, I was saying she was my girlfriend. So anyway, that was her way of explaining, I guess explaining to me that it was just the two of us. So, all right, so move past all of that, and junior prom come. And so I go to her junior prom with her, and I'll show you some pictures of that. And then senior prom came, and I didn't go to her senior prom. Somebody else went to the senior prom with her. I don't remember what happened, but she said I didn't want to go with her, but that wasn't the truth. But I told a story before that I used to work a lot when I was young. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of still do, but I don't work a lot like I used to, but I don't take off as much as I probably should. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say that. But anyway, so I didn't go to her senior prom with her. She went to senior prom with somebody else. And like I said, she said I just didn't want to go with her. I don't know. That wasn't the truth. I don't know what happened. Probably it was working or whatever the situation was. So anyway, after she senior prom and she graduated, and she went away to school. And so, when she went away to school, we were like together but not together. It was one of them situations. We always been close and tight and all of that, but she went away to school, and something happened that I wasn't. Something happened that I'm gonna tell you right now. I wasn't crazy about it at all. Anyway, I'm gonna skip past that, but she know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so and I gotta say this because I've never said it before. I think she did that to get back at me or whatever. But anyway, you know you're shady. Anyway, y'all, so after all of that, she used to come home, and sometimes we would get together and sometimes we wouldn't because I would be working. And I know all of that was my fault because she was crazy about me, and I didn't realize it then. You know what I'm saying? I think about it now and I can realize all of that, but I didn't realize all of that then. I was young and whatever, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, she would come home sometimes on breaks and for the weekend and all of that, and sometimes we would get together and go hang out, and sometimes I'd be too busy working. And she always said she wanted a boyfriend who was going to be a boyfriend and spend some time with her and do those type of things like that. And obviously I couldn't be that one. So anyway, we go out separate with So, like I say, I used to go up and visit her at college sometimes, and sometimes she would come home and we would hang out in some kind of way. I don't even know what it was. I think it was that one of them times she probably came home and I was working or couldn't give her the attention she needed or wanted or whatever, and that was that. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of went our separate ways. Then I eventually met somebody and got married. She met somebody and got married. And I'm not sure of all of the timelines. Like, I don't know if she immediately got married after whatever, but let's just say I got married, went my way, she got married, went her way. That was my first marriage, and so we lost contact, right? And this wasn't right out of high school. Let's just make that clear. It wasn't right out of high school, or it wasn't right out of high school for me. Let's say that. So anyway, I got married, she got married, we lost contact. But our families were always kind of intertwined and always family friends, because I have an aunt, my nana and my godmother was married to My aunt, let me say it, it's hard for me to explain it. There's these two brothers. My uncle, who was married to my aunt, had a brother that was married to her sister. So it's always been like a family type thing, right? Anyway, moving on. So what I was saying was we lost contact, but the family always stayed in contact, so to speak, but not us. We didn't. So did all of that. I got married. I moved to California. I was gone for a lot of years. I got divorced, got remarried, started having children, and moved back home to New Orleans. And I think 2000, was it 7? I think 2007 we moved back to New Orleans. That was my second wife and my last two children. We moved back to New Orleans. We eventually got divorced in, I think it was 2012 or something like that. And if I'm not mistaken, right before that or right during that same time, and I tell a story all the time, but I've never really asked her the timeline, or so to speak, but I think it was like almost around the same time where he passed, her husband, God rest the dead, he passed, and I was getting divorced. I don't know if it was all in 2012, but I do know I got divorced in 2012, or we split up in 2012 and then started the divorce process and all that type of stuff. So, like I had said before, we had lost contact. I didn't have no contact with her. I think one time I talked to her on the phone after Katrina. I came home from California to help my brother because he had a contracting service and he was super busy, so I came home to help him. And some kind of way they were talking or whatever, and I talked to her for a little bit on the phone, and that was really it. It wasn't nothing, because again, I was married, she was still married. And so we just talked. It wasn't nothing about us or none of that. It was just how you been, all that kind of stuff, But anyway, so like I said, 2012, I got separated and started the divorce process and all of that. I can't remember if it was 15 or 14. I believe it was 14. I believe it was probably 2015 when we got back reconnected, because her and my sister has always been good friends, right? So I was dating this other lady. I told a story about that lady. But we gonna leave her out of it. But I was dating this other person, and it wasn't really gonna work out. I kind of knew it wasn't gonna work out, but that's what it was. So then one day, I think my sister called me and asked me to pick her up. And if I'm not mistaken, by this time, we may have become friends on Facebook or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while. But anyway, keep moving. So one time my sister called me and asked me to pick her up from her house. And I didn't know. I don't know if at the time, I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get her. It's hard for me to remember. I don't know. Did I pick her up or I didn't pick? Some kind of way. I think she might have had to bring her home or whatever the situation is. But saying all of that to say is that's how we got back in contact, through my sister, right? Because even through the years, my sister ain't never been that type of person to say, oh, so-and-so looking for you, or so-and-so asked for you. She wasn't about that kind. She wasn't about that at all. Because You could ask her, who is that? That's your, leave it, don't, no, my sister wasn't about that. But anyway, so we get back in contact through my sister, and eventually I'm not with the other lady anymore because I told that story. I just couldn't do it because whatever, but it ain't about her. So eventually me and her, I kind of break camp with her, and we back in contact. And I think at first it was just like Facebook type stuff, you know what I mean? And then eventually I think I posted a video or something of me being on the lakefront. It was Father's Day, and Father's Day is always rough for me, not because of my children or because of the situation with my children, but because my dad was my best friend, and he passed when I was young, while I was 18, and we had all of that time together. We was really close. So sometimes, I don't know if I've said it before, but some years are better than others. Some days are better than others, but you know how that go. But anyway, back to this story. I think she saw a post where I was out there on the lakefront by myself, just, I guess, reflecting or whatever. And I think she made a comment or she said something about I could have came by her like that. And I didn't take, because all of these years passed, and like I told you before, I used to tell her all the time it was puppy love. That she used to say all the time she knew that I was the one, and she been wanted to, all of that kind of stuff. She been wanted to be with me and be married, not be physically, but you know what I'm talking about. Be my girlfriend, be my wife, all of that type of stuff. She kind of always knew that and always felt that, right? But I used to tease her and say that was just puppy love because we was young. But anyway, getting back to this, some kind of way, I ended up going by her house for something. I don't know I still can't remember if it was to pick up my sister, but I doubt that it was to pick up my sister. But some kind of way I passed by her house. I don't even think I went inside that time, or I don't remember what happened. Anyway, so Thanksgiving, was it Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving or Christmas? I think it was Thanksgiving. She gonna kill me because I can't remember. I don't know what's going on with my little crazy memory, because my memory used to be really, really good, even up until recently. But right now, I don't know if it's the camera that's doing it or anyway. So she invited me over. It was a holiday. It was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I believe it was Thanksgiving. But anyway, she invited me over. All of her family was there. And they all knew me because they've been knowing me since I was a little bitty boy. And I don't think my sister and them was there. No, my sister wasn't there. But anyway, so we talked and we talked and we talked. And everybody knew Boo and Charlotte. Her name is Charlotte, but they call her Charlotte. That's a New Orleans thing. Charlotte. That's her name at home. That's what her family called her. That's what we called her. That's what everybody that been knowing her still call her. But everybody always knew Charlotte and Boo. That was my nickname, even to today. Some people didn't even know my real name because they called me that so much. But anyway, so we get together then, but I know it was a time before that I went over there, because she was saying that, basically telling me that I was always welcome. You know what I'm saying? You always welcome to come over here and eat dinner or whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? You always welcome. It's like she was throwing hints to me, but She say that now. She still say that today. Boy, a whole lot of stuff go over your head. And it's true. Cause I'm one of them people you gotta tell me what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Which is not a good thing, but let me not get off topic. So after the dinner thing, we started talking on the phone all the time, or we could have been doing that before then. But however, we start talking on the phone all the time, and I'm gonna tell you what made me know, even though at that time I knew it was something with her. I've always known it was something with her, but this is what kind of sealed the deal for me. We would be talking on the phone for hours and hours. You know how people do when they either reconnect or when they knew. It's just we talked about everything. And after my second marriage, after that divorce I had just went through, I had some friends that some of them I just talked to on the phone, and some of them I got real tight with, you know what I'm saying, outside of dating one person and whatever. So, but in that, in that kind of time and atmosphere, nobody was asking these questions that she was asking me. And because one reason was because she knew me when I was young. She knew when I was a kid. She knew I grew up in church. She knew I used to sing in church all the time. She knew my whole family was, that's why I grew up in church. My dad used to sing in church, in the choirs. My grandmothers, my aunt, my nana, all of them, they sung in church. My aunt played keyboards, all that. So she knew me like that. And so she asked me, wait, let me not fast forward past a lot of stuff. So I'm working at the time at this mechanic shop. Well, it's really a cab stand, but we worked on all of the taxi cabs. It's like I did body work on them. I didn't paint, but I got them prepped to paint. You know what I'm saying? And we changed motors, we changed transmissions, we did it all like that, right? So one day, somebody come and bring pizza, because what we used to do was, it was myself and another mechanic and then the owner of the cab stand, and then a lot of people used to come through, obviously. But sometimes my partner Mike, we would go to lunch together and he would pay, or sometimes we would go and I would pay, or sometimes Frank, the cab stand owner, sometimes he would just take us all to lunch or send out for lunch or whatever. But let me get to the point. So one day, like all kind of food come, and everybody saying, oh, this for Boo or something like that. Again, that's what they call me. And I'm like, that ain't for me. I didn't order no food. You know what I'm saying? Not that I would have had a problem with ordering it, but I didn't order no food. Come to find out, she didn't order lunch for everybody at the spot. And that was that was one thing that, I don't know if you done dealt with it, or if you've gotten it for yourself, or I don't know if y'all been there, but in this day and age, a lot of people don't do that. Everybody is out for self. They're thinking about, most people don't even ask you if you ate. That's my opinion. For the women that do that, my bad. I'm not talking about y'all, but I'm talking about most of these other women that they ain't worried about whether you ate or not. They ain't worried about none of that. Anyway, keep it moving. So that was one thing. And then, like I said, the title we got, she used to invite me over every Sunday. I used to go over after church, but we was going to different churches. So I would go to my church, and if I had time, if their church was still in, which was all family too, because her brother-in-law, who I was talking about, that was brothers to my uncle, he was the pastor at the church. So it was all family, like I said. So I would leave my church if it was over and go to their church. And then after that, we would go to her house. And she always cooked Sunday dinner. And we would watch, sit there and watch movies and stuff like that. So anyway, move past all of that. And so we get in these, like I say, these deep conversations about everything. And this is the conversation that put it over the top for me. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, after that divorce or after that marriage, I was jacked up. I'm still jacked up from it with a lot of things, or I still hold on to it. Not that I'm jacked up about losing the person, but that's part of it. But it's the whole, anyway, this ain't about her. So I know this person, my wife, I know her. She ain't my wife then, but I know her and I know her family and I know how she was raised and I know all of these type of things. But at the same time, I got my issues too because of what I just came out of and what just happened. And not just that, but I'm jaded from a whole bunch of other stuff that happened with baby mamas and all kind of stuff. So anyway, this is the thing that put it over the top for me. She asked me a question. She said, well, this was before I was going to the church I was talking about. And because even the church I was going to, I actually went there to help a friend out because I used to sing with this guy at another church years ago. And some kind of way me and him hooked back up, and he was the minister of music over there, so the choir was a little sparse or however you call it. They ain't had but a few people, so he asked me to come and help him out, sing in the choir, just help him sing in the choir and all that kind of stuff. That's how I got to that church over there. But I think this was before that or something, because at some point I had kind of just gotten all the way out of church. I wasn't even feeling it. I was going through some stuff. I was hearing all of these, all of this woke stuff, and I was just going through some stuff. Long story short, I can't remember the timeline, but when she asked me this question, I knew that was it. I just knew that was it. I can't explain how, but I just knew it. And mind you, keep in mind, she used to look out for me, sending me lunch at work and just some stuff I ain't seen in years. They don't do where they do that at. They don't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if you ain't that person, or if you are that person that'll do that, this ain't about, I'm not downing you. Anyway, the question was, so where do you go to church? And that wasn't the kicker of it. I said, well, I don't really, right now, I don't go to no church. I ain't really into that like that. That's how I said, I ain't really into that no more like I used to be, and that ain't who I am anymore, all that kind of stuff. Now, mind you, she ain't never left church. That's been her whole life, church. Even to today, I call her the church girl, because she ain't missing church, and if she do, it's something serious. Anyway, so I'm on that soapbox, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, I'm going through some stuff, and I ain't really feeling that, and I don't know about this, and I'm questioning this and questioning that. So we keep on with the conversation, and before you know it, she tells me, well, you got to go somewhere. And you know me, or not me, but men or people that's avoiding. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I ain't brushing her off, but in so many ways brushing her off. But when she said that, you got to go somewhere. And then she said, you got to go somewhere and you got to go get fed. That was it for me. I was like, aha moment, or the lights just popped back on. I was in dark. You know what I'm saying? I had went in the dark and now the lights just popped on. Not to be dramatic, but it was like that. And in my mind the whole time I'm thinking, did this girl just tell me I gotta go somewhere because I gotta go get fed? Translation, in my mind, this girl worried about my soul. She worried about if I'm gonna go to hell when I die or if I'm gonna go to heaven. And she worried about my soul. Who does that? I was like putty then. I don't know how many nights of conversation after that, but I didn't even ask her, will you marry me? I mean, I've been romantic before and all of that kind of stuff when I was younger. I still got a little bit of that in me. But it wasn't nothing romantic about that. When I got that feeling and that urge, I was like, you know what? You're going to be my woman. Matter of fact, you're going to be my wife. And this was in 2015. December of 2016, we got married. December the 4th, 2016. And we had talked about moving to Georgia. And I believe that I know she's always wanted, because she's traveled away from New Orleans, but she never lived out. If I might be wrong, but so I'm not gonna say she never lived out, but I know she lived in the country where her parents were from, but most of the time she been in the city of New Orleans East anyway. So we had talked about Atlanta, and she know I had been to California, and the reason I went to California was because of my singing and all of that type of stuff. But you know, some kind of way we was talking about Atlanta, and she just kept saying, well, I want you to have a shot, or I want you to have, you know, she always looked out for me ever since we were little, ever since we were kids. She always wanted the best for me. She always wanted me, even now when we have disagreements, or when we don't argue, but we have disagreements, or I'm being me, I always tell her, everything that you do, I know where it comes from, right? You know how some people, everything they do, you know it's coming from an evil place, or you know it's coming from a shiesty place, or you know it's coming from somewhere else other than the good side, or looking out for somebody, or looking out for you. I know better, because I know who she is. I've always known that. Now, that doesn't mean she couldn't have changed over the years, because I made a video about that, being jaded and growing up and life throwing you all these curveballs, and you change from that young person you were to a different person when you get older. But I know her. It's just something about her that I just know her. And I know that everything she does, especially when it comes to me, more so, a lot, well, I won't say more so, I'll say a lot for other people, that she has that heart for people and she looks out for people. But when it comes to me, I already know. And that's not bragging or boasting on me. That's on her, because that's who she is, and I know how she feels about me. Which is another reason why I would never do nothing crazy to jeopardize that. Because I got this thing in me that I would never want to hurt her like that. I really wouldn't want to hurt nobody like that, but her, I would never want to hurt her like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's another video for another time, or to add on to something I've already said or done or whatever in other videos. But that's our true life, real life love story. And that's how, and we've been married since. and we've had disagreements and all of that, but it's never been to the point to where, well, I'll just go or you could just go. Or it's never that, because it's us, it's you and me, and that's what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? And she looks out for me. She takes care of me. She does everything in her power to give me what I need or help me with what I need or do whatever I need. You know what I'm saying? Help with. And not just physically, but mentally, because she know I'm a wreck. There are times when she just quiet and she let me rant and do whatever I need to do. There are times when we talk and she tell me, babe, you got to calm down. You can't keep doing this and you can't keep doing that. I don't want you to blow up gas. Whatever the moment calls for is what God allows her to be in that moment. And I know that's a lot. I know it's a lot. It's a lot dealing with me. It's a lot with me dealing with me, let alone somebody outside of me dealing with me. So I know that, right? But I'm just saying, that's our love story. And I love her to death, and she loved me to death. You know what I'm saying? Am I perfect? Hell no. Nowhere near. Is she perfect? No, but she's perfect for me. You know what I'm saying? The only things that really bother me about her is that damn phone. One thing is the phone, and the other thing is my prayer for her is that I've said it before, not that she's oblivious to a lot of stuff, but she trusts people too much. And I want her to be more aware of her surroundings, if that makes sense. Like I say, she trusts people too much. And the experiences I've had in my life and the shit that I done seen, and not just me, but you done seen some stuff. We see it. I don't even watch the news anymore, but you see it on social media every day. You see it for the people who watch news every day. You see it. I don't even watch it no more because it's too depressing. But we see the state that the world is in. I just want her to be more aware of her surroundings. I don't know where all this coming from, because this ain't about, but it's about how much I love her and how I want her to be okay. And answer that phone. Answer that phone, boy. That's the biggest. Ooh, Lord. Like I said, I missed this one, but that's part of it too. But the main thing with us is communication and that phone. If I don't answer my phone, she gonna call the National Guard to come looking for me. I'm telling you. But every time I call her, it go to, you have reached the phone, however that shit say. That shit drives me so hard. That shit drives me. Babe, you know I just left here. Babe, you know I told you I was gonna call you. And every time I call you, you don't answer. Anyway, that's my babe though. I love her to death. And I guess I can deal with the phone and the communication situation. Because sometimes we gotta deal with what we gotta deal with. You know what I'm saying? And I'll do that every day if it means, you know what I'm saying, I still got her with me in my corner and all that other stuff. Or just being my person, because that's my person. And it's been. I just didn't know. A lot of stuff I could have avoided, but like I said before, sometimes God will allow us to go through stuff that we can't avoid because we need to learn lessons in the stuff that we go through. So thank God for the lessons and all of that. But I still feel I could have avoided them. No, I'm just playing. So I don't want to, But anyway, that's how we met. That's how we know each other. That's how we got married and all of that type of stuff. So that's our love story. And like I said, we've been married since 2016 and we still going. And if it's God's will, one of us gonna be putting the other one in the ground. Not no time soon. I'm just saying we ain't going nowhere. That's what I'm talking about. It's gonna be us. It's gonna be me and her until one of us, till how the vow say, till death do us part. Anyway, if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Help your boy out. Try to get my sub count up and all of that kind of stuff. Maybe one day I might can make some ends on here. You heard me? But anyway, I appreciate y'all for watching, and if you stayed this long, thank you. Because I know I could be a little long-winded, how the old folks say. But these are my stories, and I got to tell them how I know how to tell them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I'll try to cut them short, but I don't want to leave out too much, especially this one. So y'all be easy, and I'll see you in the next one. One love.